Well, that's torn up. They'll probably transfer her back by the end of the week.
Where's Judy? I haven't seen her around.
She's gone back to her cell.
Yeah, and she's been acting real strange ever since she had that visitor this afternoon.
Well, who was it?
Oh, she said it was one of those charity types, but I don't see why that should upset her.
I might just call in and see how she is. Well, I'll see you all later.
Yeah, OK. You'll know where to find us.
May I come in?
Of course. How are you, Mrs. Morris?
Oh, I'm all right. Just dropped in for a social visit. How are you?
I'm fine, just fine.
Well, pardon me for saying so, but you don't look it. Have you got problems?
No, of course not. I'm just, a bit tired.
Come on, we've known each other for a long time. You know you can always talk to me about anything.
Yeah, thanks.
It sometimes does you good to have someone to listen to you. Not just to give advice, but to listen.
Look, will you stop trying to pump me? I just don't want to hear it. I mean, I know you're trying to be nice, but please leave me alone, huh?
Yes, no, those couplets should be fine. That'll do. Yes, good. Yes, miss, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to see Judy Bryant, please.
I'm afraid that's impossible. You had a visit yesterday, and regulations state only one visit a week.
But this is a special case.
I'm sorry, miss, but they're the regulations.
Oh, but she said she'd be able to get permission under the circumstances.
Well, I don't know what circumstances you're talking about, miss, but I can assure you that I've received no notification of any special visit.
Look, I haven't seen her for 20 years. She's my mother, for heaven's sake. I don't know how long I can afford to stay down here. Well, can't you see, I just have to be able to see her today.
Now, just a minute. We are talking about the same person, aren't we? Judy Bryant?
Yes, of course.
Just a minute, miss. I'll see if I can sort this out.
Yes. Oh, she's arrived. Yes, that's right. Well, I admit it's a bit of a surprise, but apparently it's true. And under the circumstances, I agreed to the extra visit. I think it's only fair. Let them go out into the garden. It's more pleasant. Oh, and Mr. Fletcher, the information is to be kept strictly confidential at this stage.
Yes, of course, Mrs. Davidson. I understand. Very well. Well, it appears you do have permission. Mrs. Davidson's allowing you to use the garden. Well, Judy Bryant's daughter. Well, that's a turn up for the books.
Well, what's so surprising about it? Lots of women have babies and adopt them out. Why shouldn't she?
Yes, well, if you'd just like to sign in over here, miss, I'll show you out to the garden. Then I'll have your mother brought out to you.
Mum and Dad never tried to keep it from me that I was adopted. They just never let on they knew my real mother's name. I always wondered who you were and what you were like. Oh, I had to have an identity, didn't I?
What made you suspect it was me?
Well, they were watching the news on television one night, and you were on being interviewed about prison conditions. When your name was mentioned, they started acting really strange. From what they said, I realized they'd known my real mother's name all along.
Well, I don't know how that could have happened. I mean, I never even met them, you know?
No, I just asked them for the truth. I'll never forget the look on their faces. Anyway, Dad said they didn't know for sure, but it was the same name. And you were American. Then Mum started to cry.
You're not surprised, are you?
Well, I had to find out. They didn't try and stop me. They're not like that. You'd like them. So I finished my final year at uni. I took a part-time job so I could earn some money and make a trip down here to see you. I had to find out. And I didn't think you'd be able to, well, lie to me face to face.
Sometimes I wish I could have, you know?
Why? Are you disappointed in me?
Oh, of course not. You seem to be everything I could ever hope for.
It's taken me a long time to find you. Now that I have, I don't know, it just feels really strange. I'd always imagined what it would be like. It was never like this.
I'm sorry you had to find me in here, love.
Look, that doesn't matter. I didn't mean that. I can't afford to stay very long. I don't know how many times I'll be allowed to see you. There are some things I really do have to know. Well, I mean, things like who my father is. And where is he now? And I suppose most important to me anyway. Why did you give me away? Look, I know it must be difficult for you, but I really do want to know. Were you in prison when they took me away from you?
Heck, I've only been in prison a short time.
Well, why didn't you keep me then?
I wasn't married, you know, and, well, things were different then. It was really hard, making ends meet. I mean, it wasn't just the food or the clothing, anything like that, but the pension was hopeless. I had to work. I didn't have any family or friends that could help look after you, see. I tried desperately, but there was just nothing I could do.
Wasn't there any way?
No. And then you got sick. I wouldn't know. It was nothing serious. It was just that I knew that if you were going to have any chance at all, I was going to have to give you up to a couple, you know, who could look after you properly. It wasn't an easy decision, Laura.
Come on, Bryant. You know the rules. No touching.
Oh, excuse me. Mr. Fletcher?
That's right.
Tony Morton, Meg Morris's tame legal aid. She said you wanted me to speak to a girl named Parks.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't expect you so soon. Look, I can't come with you now. I'm on duty, but if you go to reception, an officer will take you through to where she is.
Right.
And thanks for coming so soon.
How on earth did you end up in a place like this?
Stupidity, I guess. I had this friend, you know, she got involved in a drug charge, and then she said to me she was being beaten up by some of the heavies, so I just got myself convicted to look after her. She wasn't very strong.
You did that just for a friend?
Stupid, isn't it?
Was she still here?
Uh-huh. A water killed her.
It's terrible.
Sorry, ladies. Time's up.
Already? I've only just started to... When can I visit again?
Well, I doubt if the governor will give you permission to see her again before next week.
Next week?
Sorry?
I'd only intended staying a few more days. I can't leave now that I've just found you. Look, I'll try and find some cheaper accommodation. That ought to stretch my finances a bit so I can stay down for a few days longer. I'll see you again next week.
You sure, honey?
Don't worry. I won't leave without seeing you again. Goodbye, Mum.
Nice kid.
Now, I've read the police report and the charges against you, and to be perfectly frank, I'm not terribly optimistic.
But I'm innocent.
OK, look, the case against you isn't very strong, but we've got virtually nothing to offer in the way of a defence. Now, what about this old lady you claimed you spoke to while you were limbering up in the park?
She was just an old lady. Scruffy. Could have been a Darrow. Only talked to her for a short while.
Look, you've got to try and think. Was there anything that was said that would give us a clue as to where she lived? Was she a member of an elderly people's home? Anything?
No, it was just ordinary talk. The weather, jogging, fitness.
There are other people in the park there that day. Other joggers. Hadn't you seen any of them before?
Yeah, I'd seen him before, but I'd never talked to him. We just concentrate on our training.
It just seems amazing that no one can remember seeing you there on that day.
Well, that's not my fault.
Look, the trial is set for the 13th. Now, I'll try for a postponement, but if something doesn't turn up soon, I'm afraid we're not going to get you off.